I'm super welcome to the Early Learning Center classroom. I'm super excited for you guys, and I just want to say thank you again for holding down the fort while um, I tend to Mr. Ritchie while he was in the hospital. As you can hear, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so no worries. We are going to muster through anyway. So for announcements for today, first of all, tell me I'm not looking cute in this cute little cartoon. It's super cute. And I'm making cartoons for all of y'all. How am I going to use it? I don't know, but I'm super excited for it. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so announcements are cold and flu season prep. Um, Listen, we are in the thick of it. It is starting. And so, again, we all need to prepare for this upcoming cold and flu season. What does that look like? I hope y'all get your flu shots. They are helpful. But even if you do or don't, doing extra things to help keep your immune system up is going to be beneficial to not just you, but all of us. So for instance, doing, your ginger shots, drinking like ginger tea. We have honey at school, but everybody drinks their own tea. So you can bring your own tea in. I believe we have tea on site for when you aren't feeling your best. We also keep, I usually buy Aleve and I try to buy Dayquil to make sure that we have something, in case you're feeling a little stuffy or whatever and you want to take a little medication just to get yourself through the day. But listen, we can always use donations. So if you are one that tend to use the medication, think about replenishing the medication. Just like the condiments in the kitchen, think about replenishing if that's what you use. So anyway, right here is the illness policy. You can scan that with your camera. That way you can read it. We are also hanging the illness policy on each teacher command center so that you have access to the illness policies as we are communicating them to our families. And then lastly, or next, uniforms and personal grooming. So please check your dress code here. It is important that we all dress professionally. Our uniform shirts for October are on the way. They're already ordered. So I believe if they're not here next week, the week after, so like the first week of October at the latest, they should be coming in. I'm super excited for these. This is our breast cancer awareness shirt. And just as a quick little announcement, we are all women here. If you do not check yourself for breast cancer or have any sort of routine to check yourself, please make yourself aware of what you personally need to do to make sure that you are preventing or checking for breast cancer. It is really important that we are all aware. If you are of age to get your mammograms, please do so. They are starting them earlier, and then depending on your family history, you may need to start yours early. So talk to your doctor about your mammograms, talk to your doctor about breast cancer awareness, and then talk to your families as well. We just have to make sure that, we are keeping each other accountable and as healthy as possible. So that's just my little spiel. And then we're going to be doing fun things throughout the month of October to make sure that we are bringing awareness to our families for breast cancer awareness. So wearing pink on specific days, and then just making it fun too. And we'll be sharing information with our families through our newsletter and things like that. And then I am hoping that parents will donate so that we can make a nice donation to the Susan Komen Foundation for Breast Cancer Research. In honor of my mom, Alice Marshall. She is a two-time breast cancer survivor, and she is still kicking butt around here. And so, because it's being caught early, she has been able to survive and thrive. So, moving on. And then lastly, see our staff handbook. Save this link for your staff handbook and you can go back to this information as you need it. These same QR codes I'm going to be putting up on our school command center that is in the front room so that if you need to go back to this, you can. Okay? All right. So welcome to your September's training. It is the first week, 6 weeks of school. Now, this is going to help you understand what the first weeks of school should look like. But make no mistake, I'm not delusional. I know we are past our first weeks of school, but we are going to backtrack. So you're going to learn about it today. Next week, we're going to have a meeting to come up with a game plan. And then the following week, which will be the first week of October, we'll start our first 6 weeks of school. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start with understanding what the first 6 weeks of school is and why it matters. The first 6 weeks of school matters because it is the foundation to set the tone for the entire school year. It helps the children understand their expectations as well as the parents. It helps them to get to know and expect the routines, and then that way they can feel safe and respected as a part of our school community. When we start off strong, this makes us have better classroom management, better learning outcomes, and better behaviors as well. Core themes for the first 6 weeks of school are routines and structures. We will establish predictable schedules that we already have so that the children know what to expect. We have these schedules, but you're going to learn how to make it better so that it is better used in your classrooms. Rules and expectations. We will teach, model, and practice these expectations instead of just posting them or telling the children what they are. Building community within our classroom, within the children's world. So your classroom is the children's little world, and they want to belong. They need to feel like they belong. So greeting them, sharing, and having team activities is how we will continue to build that community. And then engagement, introducing academics in small, developmentally appropriate ways, which will emphasize on exploration and it will help them be able to do things independently. And finally, the role of the teacher to guide children with both structure and care, to ask questions, to help them figure things out, and not just give them the answer. So let's start with routines that create structure. This is how students tell time. Some of the things that we will talk through, some of the areas that we'll talk through is morning meeting, interactive modeling, positive teacher language, gradual release of responsibility, and then the prepared classroom. And I will be sharing different pro tips throughout this time. So morning meetings. Morning meetings are meant to gather, greet, and teach. I'll say it again. Morning meetings are meant to gather, greet, and teach. So every day we come to the carpet, and you can call it circle time, you can call it morning meeting. Either language works, but at the end of the day, it's the meeting that happens in the morning. During this time, we gather on the carpet. So you first have to teach the children, how do we gather on the carpet? Do you, as the teacher, stand in one place and yell, everybody get to the carpet? I hope not. Or are there tips or tricks that you have that signals the children to come over to the carpet? So in the Tiny Giants, Miss Jasmine will sing, hello, and then she'll stop and get quiet. Then all of our crawlers, all of our and she'll sit on the carpet. All of our crawlers, all of our walkers will begin to come over to the carpet, because that simple trick tells the children it's time for circle time. So what can that look like in your classroom? How can you trigger or signal the children to say it's time for circle time instead of just yelling it at them? When we gather on the carpet, some of the things that they'll be learning will be how to conduct themselves on the carpet. So do they tickle their friends as they're sitting next to them? Are they dancing while teachers are talking? It's important for them to learn these basic foundational activities so that they are ready for the next stage of their day. It's also going to teach them how to sit and listen. Do they need to sit crisscross applesauce? Do they need to sit hands in their lap? When I was in the classroom, I would invite the children over and I would say this repeatedly. I'll know you're ready when your bottom's on the carpet and your hands are in your lap. And as the kids came over, they sat on the carpet. Their bottom was on the carpet. They would put their hands in their lap and they would say it over and over with me as the other children came over to, as the other children began to come over. And then when we were all there, we would say it one more time. I'll know you're ready when your bottom's on the carpet and your hands are in your lap. This took time for them to catch on to, but when you do it as a routine, when you teach them what it means, then they will know exactly what to do. Because remember, the carpet is used to gather, greet, and teach. At the carpet, they're also going to understand, how do you greet each other. So when we sing our hello song, whatever hello song you choose, this is how they learn how to greet each other. They should also be learning how to introduce themselves. Like, what is your name? My name is, and say hi or do an elbow touch. So we have posters that teach you ways that you can greet each other. These items are important for students to know and learn, because this is teaching them how to act in a social environment. And then finally, at the carpet, using your learning board, they will be learning new concepts. But you can't teach, as the teacher, you cannot teach new concepts if the kids don't know how to sit, if they don't know how to greet each other, if they don't know what to do when a teacher is talking. And this is why it is important for the first 6 weeks of school. This is why it's important for us to backtrack and set these foundations. And not only is it setting a foundation, but it is creating, and I hope you all know the word, structure. It's creating structure in your classroom. We also have to do interactive modeling. This can happen on the carpet, again, when you teach them how to introduce themselves, when you teach them how to sit at the carpet, but also this can happen in various areas of the classroom. So when you are doing small group activities, you can show them this is how we use the rice at the science table, at the sensory table. This is how we build with blocks on the carpet, not too high. Don't whack anybody upside the head. Please don't whack anybody upside the head. Okay? But again, back to these core themes, routines and structures, and then setting the rules and the expectations. Some other things that you can talk about at circle time are how do we line up? Do we just run haphazardly, dangerously, jumping over chairs, crawling under the table to get to the door to be the first one at the door? Or do we walk safely and then line up behind a friend? This is the information that they need to know. And then these proactive measures, these are proactive measures instead of reactive measures. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Other information for interactive modeling, other topics are, how to sign in the Big Kid Classroom. What do they need to do to sign in? They may have no idea, especially if it wasn't explained to them and you're just expecting them to be able to do it. How to line up, a call and response. What is a call and response, you may ask? So in some classrooms, again, the I'll know you're ready when your bottom's on the carpet and your hands are in your lap. That's one. Miss PT uses catch a bubble, but do you practice catching a bubble when you have the full attention of the classroom? So how do you catch a bubble is what I would like to see being taught in circle time. Also, you could say if the classroom is super loud and super crazy, in the 2-year-old classroom, I know that a teacher yells, freeze, and then everybody stops. But do they know that that's what freeze means? So in order for us to get to the point where everybody does it, you have to first introduce it. At circle time, we talk about freeze means stop. What does freeze mean? Freeze means, and then as the teacher, you get quiet and you wait for a child to say, stop. And then you practice the freeze dance. You turn it off and you say, freeze means stop. And then you let them play again and then you say, freeze. So you have to teach it and model it and then practice it. Okay? How to clean up, where does everything go? Like, where do lunch boxes go? Where do cups go? Where should I put my shoes? Where does my nap time things go? All of this information can be and should be introduced to the children during circle time. And then there's a few more listed here. Very important for this to go smoothly is the positive teacher interactions. Now, trust me, I know it can be super frustrating when children are not listening, when children are not doing the things that you are asking them to do, or when they are just flat out flipping out because they're angry, they're screaming, and they just want all the things right here and right now. However, if you command the room, most students will listen. But if you react to the room, no one is going to listen. What does this mean, Miss Mika? I'm so glad you asked. That means if you give clear, concise directions, especially, on a age appropriate level, so you can't tell an 18-month-old, okay, put your shoes away, put your chair away, and then do a dance on the carpet. You can't tell them that, right? But age appropriately, if you give clear directions, then the children will know what you expect of them. And they most of the time want to please the teacher and want to do the things that you have asked them to do. However, oh, please. If you wait for them to be super loud and super crazy and then try to give direction, not one person in that class is going to listen to you. And again, doing things to help practice this will, once you introduce it, will help them out. So a part of our good morning song, our hello song, they get to do it regular, they whisper, and then they go super loud and super crazy. But eventually they have to come back down and sit and listen. Okay. So here's your positive teacher interaction checklist. Did you give directions before you started? Were your materials set out and ready to go for the children to play? Did you go into the play area ready to play with the kids on their level? Did you give frequent reminders? Did you warn the students before transitioning to another activity? Or are you consistently reacting to the events like crying, hitting, or a big giant mess after it's already done? I know the answer for most times of the day, but here's my reality, and I know it is your reality. Everyone is not going to do everything the right way every single moment of the day. But if you find that you are reacting more than you are proactive, then you have got to get quiet within yourself and say, okay, what do I need to do to change this up? Because your reaction to everything is causing a reaction in the children as well. But if you're giving these clear directions, you're going to get a better reaction from the children. If you are given warnings before you transition, you're going to get a better reaction from the children. But if you are just moving kids from place to place, without any warning, developmentally, you're going to get what you get, and you may not get upset because you know that you're supposed to give a warning. So use that checklist. The definitions for reactive and proactive are here for a reason. I started with reactive because this is the one I want you to pay attention to. Reactive means acting in response to a situation rather than creating or controlling it. When you react, you have no control over anything. Okay. But when you are proactive, you are controlling the situation by causing something to happen rather than responding to it. So when you say, when we go inside, put your shoes in your cubby, get in line and wash your hands, you're giving them everything they need to be successful. Now, is everyone going to do it the right way? It's highly unlikely that every child in your classroom is going to do it the right way. But if you don't give any directions and just open the door and all the kids flood in, more than likely you're going to have more children doing it the wrong way than doing it the right way. And this is how you create and keep control of the classroom. So, gradual release of responsibility. Another one of the things that we have introduced this school year, and it'll come later in the school year, is independent activities. Activities where kids can go and use or manipulate without a teacher being right next to them to help them with it. What does this mean? And I'm not talking like in the block area where kids can play in the block area without, any assistance. I'm talking about a table time activity that they can explore without needing any assistance. But that takes time to get to. So once you introduce these routines, going back to our core values, let me go back to that. Oh, please. Once you introduce those structures, the routines and structure, you have created those rules and the expectations. You've built the community because they know that they belong because you've greeted them. Now they're sharing and they're doing team activities. Now it's time for engagement where you're introducing these small, developmentally appropriate activities and emphasizing exploration. And when you introduce that to them and you show them that they, excuse me, and you show them that they can do this activity by themselves, then you can step away as a teacher and say, you know what? 2 or 3 students can do this activity by themselves. No problem. So for instance, would you give a 2-year-old slime and walk away? If you would, you're fired. I'm not even playing. You would not give a 2-year-old slime and walk away from them. You would, however, introduce slime on the table or Play-Doh. Hopefully nobody's giving a 2-year-old slime, but I do think that they can explore it with a teacher. But let's say, for instance, let's do slime. So you can introduce it at the table with a teacher to play with and all the things. And while you are at that table with them, the hope is that you are creating that structure by saying, do we put it in our mouth? Do we put it in our ear? Oh, and then set the expectations. And while you're teaching and you're modeling, this is how we roll it. This is how we pat it. This is how we chop it, whatever the case may be. So that if you thought that specific children were ready for you to walk away and for them to be able to do it while you're keeping at least one eye on them, then you could do so. Okay? Going back to excuse me, gradual release of responsibility. So just making sure that you are using developmentally appropriate activities where you can release the responsibility to them to say, you know what, you can do this. I'm going to go over here while you play with Play-Doh or while you draw on this paper or while you use these magnets and create patterns or whatever the case may be. And remember our motto. We meet the children where they are and we grow them from there. Everyone is not on the same level of anything, whether it be developmentally, whether it be physically, emotionally. Everyone is not on the same level. We will have to differentiate for some of these children. And it doesn't matter what age, what age of the classroom we're talking about. Every teacher in this building is going to have to differentiate because we do not operate from a standpoint of all 2-year-olds can do this, or all 1-year-olds can say that, or all 4-year-olds can do this. It's impossible. So remember, you are meeting children where they are and you are growing them from there. And again, with that model, think about the first 6 weeks of school. So when We meet the children where they are and grow them from there. We know that everyone doesn't know how to sit on the carpet. We know that everyone doesn't know how to introduce themselves. We know that everyone doesn't know how to sit crisscross applesauce, hands in their lap for circle time. So when you teach them, you are growing them from where they are. And here are some pro tips for you. The prepared environment. If you scan your classroom and your classroom is not prepared for children to walk in, you are doing something wrong. And I know you're doing it wrong because we have tons of checklists that help you to prepare your environment. And I want to make sure that you are using them. So there's an opening checklist that sets up the environment, so that when the kids walk in, that, things are ready. There's a nap time checklist that helps you to prepare for tomorrow and prepare for the afternoon. And then there's a closing checklist that helps you clean up for the day and prepare the room for tomorrow. So this is why all of these things are necessary. Making sure that your environment is prepared for children to walk into, because children do not like to wait. They are the worst waiters ever. And you know the ones. You have children in your classroom right now who will spaz out if you make them wait for even a second for the slightest thing. And that's developmentally appropriate. So don't you get mad because they can't wait for a second, because developmentally they do not know how to wait. Okay. Now, can we do activities to teach them how to wait? Yes, but that's not what this is about. We're talking about you being prepared for students so that they don't have to wait. Also, I want to make sure that you are creating transition activities. You can find these on Pinterest. You can Google some. I have a couple in my back pocket. Always. I got a song for everything. So just ask me. And if I don't have one, I bet you $10 I can make one up right then and there. Yes, I am that good. No, but I'm serious. I've been doing this a long time. I got a song for everything, I promise you. And I will bust out singing, so don't tempt me, okay? But making sure you have a transition song or chant for when children are moving from one place to another. And if you can get them to verbalize something and do something with their body, then they will focus more instead of running in like crazy people or running out like crazy people, or, just being crazy people in general. So for instance, if you say we are marching outside and we are singing hut, 2, 3, 4, hut, 2, 3, 4, they will be so focused to stay on beat and to do the hut, 2, 3, 4, that they won't even think to run and be crazy until they get outside, because you have given them something to do as they transition. If you say we are hopping like bunnies and singing the ABC song, again, their brain won't be able to do anything else because this is what you are asking them to do. Now, is everybody going to cooperate? Again, we're not delusional. We know somebody, aka Bianca, aka Nolan, um, is not going to is not going to do it, is not going to cooperate. That's fine. But you have the majority of the class focused and transitioning safely in the way that you asked them to, instead of 100% of the class just doing whatever they want to do. Okay? Other things that you can do that can help, transition in the classroom. Class jobs are an amazing way to help kids transition to the table. Like, can you be a helper? Can you help me do this? Can you carry that? Can you go get this? They love that, even down to the babies. Can you get your diaper? That means they're transitioning to go and get a diaper. Then they can wash their hands and put something in the trash. They love the responsibility of being a helper. And so you have to utilize that. Even, and I tell parents, I believe in child labor. Yes, the kids can put stuff in the trash. Yes, they can help wipe the table. Yes, they can put their stuff in their lunchbox because A, we're practicing independence, but then also they're learning to clean up and operate within their own environment. You don't have a maid, little sir, little ma'am. I am your teacher. I'm here to help, but you have to do the things. So even down into that baby room, they should be putting their stuff in the trash, putting their cup away, possibly putting their chair away. I've seen some friends put their chair away, but everyone's not going to be able to do that. But little, what's my boy name? Hold on. Not Jeffrey. Jeffrey can't go and do nothing yet. Don't come for me, Scotty. Scotty can crawl over to that trash can and put something in the trash. Or he could put his stuff in the trash because you're holding the trash for him and teach him trash. This is the trash. Okay, put it in there while he's in his high chair. He could definitely help with that. And again, that's creating structure and it's creating routines so that when he does start walking or does start walking, he can walk his paper towel over to the trash can. He can walk his little leftover strawberry over to the trash can or whatever the case may be. And that's preparing him for the 2-year-old classroom where they're cleaning up their food and putting their chair away and putting their cup away. So everything, it all falls in line. This is the week to week flow of how to get this done. So, are we going to be able to introduce the structure, create the routines, introduce the routines, create the structure, model, and all the things tomorrow? No, we're not. But here's what we are going to be able to do. Every week, every other week, we're going to work on something different. So, next week, now that you've had the training, next week we're going to have our team meetings. Each administrator has a team assigned to them that they will meet with. When they meet with you, you're going to come up with a game plan to implement tips and tricks that we talked about today. And they are likely going to go over some other items that they have observed and seen in the classroom. Okay? And then you're going to make this implementation plan. And then the week after that, you'll implement the plan. So our first 6 weeks of school is going to start on September 29th, and it's going to go through November 7th. So weeks 1 and 2, we're going to focus on building safety, teaching routines, and establishing relationships. Listen to me. Big kid teachers and little kid teachers, do not skip this. I will be observing. I will be in person, not just me, myself, Miss Jasmine, Miss Anissa, will be in these classrooms observing to make sure that you are doing what you are supposed to do because this is important. Okay. Even if you think they know how to line up to go to the bathroom, tell it to them again and make them practice it and model it for them. Even if you think they know how to where to put their cups, tell it to them again, model it, and make them practice it. Again, this is going to make it better for you, not me, because I'm not the one in the classrooms. Okay? But I need you to focus on this and really dig into these over these next couple of weeks so that we can see the fruit of the labor that we are about to do. Okay? So this is weeks 1 and 2. Next, weeks 3 and 4 is reinforcing the expectations. So you've already introduced it, you've modeled it. Now you expect them to do it. Okay. And with that expectation comes, drum roll please, discipline. We're going to talk about discipline in just a second, but let me finish this. So you're going to reinforce the expectations. You're going to deepen the community, and introduce more academic challenges. So what does that look like? We're going to, reinforce those expectations, and then we're going to get our friends involved. Oh, did you see that? Is that how we're supposed to do it? Tell that friend what we're supposed to do, because I remember seeing you do it the right way. Right? So is that how we line up? Oh no, I don't think so. Friend, tell that friend what we're supposed to do to line up. Can you show him? Yep, that's exactly what we're supposed to do. High five. Okay, moving on. So this is how you deepen that community. You get everyone involved. When friends are like hitting or something like that, you had that friend use their words and say, friend, is that how we treat a friend? And the other friend is going to say, no, that's not how we treat a friend. We use gentle hands. So again, reinforcing those expectations, deepening the community, and then you'll be introducing more academic challenges. So whereas you were doing Play-Doh with the kids, during weeks 1 and 2, maybe weeks 3 and 4, you can sit at the next table while they do it. Still watching them, still close to them, but you're not at the table with them. Same way with anything else like writing or I don't know, using the seashells, whatever it is that you're using that can be an independent activity, giving them a little bit more independence over that activity. Before I go on to weeks 5 and 6, let's talk discipline. So I am very clear with parents and intentional with parents about what discipline looks like in our environment. We have a discipline process. That discipline process is, I hope you have been taking notes all this time, but if you haven't taken one note, you need to take this note right now. Our discipline process is we talk to our friends about whatever is happening. So we give a warning. If you do this again, you're going to have to do that. Okay? Do you need to go to the cozy corner? If you whack your friend again, you're going to have to walk away and sit in that cozy corner for 3 whole minutes. Okay? If it happens again, you have to follow through with what you said was going to happen. So, number 1, we do not hit our friends. Don't hit them again. Number 2, if you hit them again, you're going to have to do X, Y, and Z. And then number 3, that's it. Go do X, Y, and Z. Follow through. After that, once the child is calmed down, because of course they're going to be super upset. I'm rolling my eyes. They're going to be super upset that they did what they were not supposed to do, and then they had to walk away. And so they're so upset, woe is me. And then after they calm down, then they can come and talk to a teacher about what happened. Oh, why were you asked to walk away? What did you do? Oh, you whacked Johnny upside the head. Is that how we play with our friends? Is that how your body is supposed to touch his body? No, I think you should go over and apologize. And we remember, we always end with love. So we ask, can you give a hug or a high five? One of those things need to happen before they part, because at the end of the day, we all still have to operate in this environment together. And if you mad and you holding a grudge over there and you watching him thinking, I'm going to whack him upside the head with this pot, in 2 minutes because she gonna turn her back in a minute. We don't want that. If we end with love, then it'll be all love. That's the expectation. Don't laugh at me, y'all, but you know it works. If friends give a hug or a high five, then usually they're okay. But if they just be like, sorry, and walk away, actually, I'm still mad about it and I'm going to get you later. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. Moving on. Weeks 5 and 6, we expand their independence. So really helping them to do more for themselves, putting their chairs away, putting their stuff away, doing activities on their own, and then really strengthening that peer collaboration. Oh, can you do it together? Oh, let's build this tower together. Things like that. And then increase academic stamina, like really, doing more projects, more fun things with them so that they can, again, continue that learning. And we learn through play. So we could be learning while building blocks for the baby room. It could be learning while writing, or drawing, talking about, oh, what color are you going to use next? In the 2-year-old classroom. It could be making patterns at the table with, what's these things? Magnetiles. Um, talking to, oh, what's that pattern? That's yellow, that's red, that's yellow, that's red. High five, I love it. All great things. So to recap, this has been a lot of information. And one thing I did not say in the beginning is that there is a quiz after this. So in order for you to get credit for taking this training, you must complete the quiz afterwards. And everything needs to be done by Sunday at 4 p.m. in order for you to get the credit to get paid until 5:30 on Friday. Yeah. All right. So to recap, going back, we've created structure, introduced routines, we have set the rules and the expectations, we have built that community, we have engaged the students by doing small, developmentally appropriate activities, and we have been the teacher that helps to guide the children and not just give them the answer. One thing I did forget to mention was the schedule. Every classroom, let me say it again, every classroom should have a visual schedule. Of what is a visual schedule, you may ask? I'm so glad you asked. A visual schedule is the words and a picture of what comes next. The words and the picture of what comes next. In the oldest classroom, can you put the times? Sure. But in all of our classrooms, do we always go according to the specific time? Not always, because diapers might be a little bit later. Somebody may have taken a long time in the bathroom, so now something is thrown off by 10, 15 minutes. So the time really doesn't matter. They need to see the words and a picture of those words so that they know what's coming next. So for instance, circle time, breakfast. What comes after breakfast? Circle time, breakfast. Oh no, I'm sorry. Breakfast, then circle time. Then outside, then dance party. Whatever it is on your schedule is what they need on their visual schedule. And every learning board needs the visual schedule. Every learning board needs the visual schedule. Miss Anissa can help us with the visual schedule, and I can help Miss Anissa with the visual schedule if you don't have it. So yeah, we'll all get that. But that was the one thing that I wanted to say about our schedules, because we have pretty great schedules. The schedules that we have are, of course, for teachers and parents, but the children need a schedule as well. All right. So continuing to recap, we are going to use our morning meetings to gather, greet, and teach. We are also going to use our morning meetings and our smaller areas to do interactive modeling. We have a list of things that we can do interactive modeling with. We're going to remember to have positive teacher interactions. If we are frustrated, we need to go and breathe and take a couple minutes for ourselves, because a 2-year-old, 3-year-old should not be frustrating you that much. And if so, you need to go and take some time and calm your nerves before we move on. Being sure that you check out your positive teacher interaction checklist. Making sure that you are a proactive teacher and not a reactive teacher. And then the ultimate goal is to release some of this responsibility off the teacher. I don't care what age group you work with. These children can do something for themselves at the end of the day if you do it the right way. Okay. And then making sure that your environment is prepared for what's to come. All of this matters because it creates a calm, structured environment where children can thrive. It reduces behavioral issues, teaching expectations up front, and then it strengthens the teacher-child relationship and helps children feel seen, valued, and ultimately loved. I really hope that you guys are loving on these children, because my saying is we never know what these kids are coming to us from or leaving us going into. We don't know what their life looks like. And this is why it is important for us to have two things: discipline and love in our environment. We know, and we know the ones who don't get discipline at home. So that's not even up for discussion. We know that some children don't have discipline at home, but it is important for this environment that we teach them discipline and how to control themselves. And then my prayer is that they all are receiving love, but that if they are not receiving love at home, they are at least receiving it here with us. So even for your hardest children, make sure you give them a squeeze. I know you guys see me walk through these classrooms and I give hugs all the time, but when children are in trouble, they always have to come see me too. So I build a relationship with the children before I can handle your behavioral problem. First, you're going to know that I love you dearly. I give you hugs. I give you high five, and I celebrate you, so that when you come to me, you in big trouble. And big trouble mean big trouble. Even down to Jeffrey. Jeffrey knew he was in trouble the other day when Miss Otero brought him to me, and he just stopped crying, and he just was like, vibing with me, because he was like, I don't want no smoke, Miss Mika. I'm just going to sit here and just, bide my time. But I know you love me. I know we're going to have fun. And then when he was sent back to his classroom, all was well. Now his little tiny self had to come to the principal's office, and I don't know if we told his mom or not, but I think that's so funny. But, even thinking through it, his little tiny self, he knew what was up. So if he can know what was up, these older children know what's up too. So, okay. Anyway, and then this builds consistency across our classrooms. So our families feel that our program is stable and nurturing. And then also we know what we're providing to our children, and our parents can see what we're providing to them. And again, the ultimate goal is this is going to help the children feel loved, feel valued, and have better learning outcomes and also better behavioral outcomes. So thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. I appreciate you spending your time with me. Let's go, let's grow, and let's move forward with everything that we have to do. I would love to hear your questions. So there will be a section in the quiz part that for you, so that if you have additional questions, you can write them in there, and I will address them, or have an admin address them during our team meetings. Um, and this part is super important to me, training you guys so that you have the information that you need to create the environments that we are really, really working hard to create. I am here if you need me. Let me know. All right, let's go. Let's go. Bye.